I'm a Refashionista Sheri, and today I'm super excited because I am sharing a whole bunch of 2-for-1 tutorials with you. And not only are these 2-for-1 tutorials, but you can also style them for the fabulous fall weather and also for spooky season as well. And of course, I share how to do both at the end of each one of these fantastic tutorials for you. Let me know down below which one is your favorite. And you know what? I'm actually 100% sure that you're going to be able to make at least one of these like right now. For sure, you have something in your house so you can use what you have to make what you want for fall and Halloween if you partake in Halloween. Before we jump into the tutorials, hit that join button, become a member so you can unlock and access my fabulous members only tutorials. And with that said, let's get making. For this quick and easy, absolutely fantastic, so transforming and upsizing project, all you need is your garment that is too tight in your chesticle area, and of course, your handy dandy seam ripper. My dress also needed to be dyed. It was faded, so I decided to freshen it up. And of course, I simply followed the instructions on my dye, and I always stir my dye up with an old paint stirrer. It works very well. And then I simply soaked my dress in the dye for about 3 hours, then gave it a good rinse and laundered it as usual, hung it up to dry, and look at that. The embroidery did not take the dye, which is awesome. So now let's go upsize it. So now it is time to upsize this without any sewing at all. Now this technique only works if you have the double seams on the inside of your garment. So you can see here the outside seam was serged, but then we also have this interior seam, and that is what we are going to be removing. And this should give me at least 2 or 3 more centimeters of space, which is all I need. So this technique absolutely does work when you just need that little bit of extra room to make the garment more comfortable. And as always, remember, this video is sponsored by you and the word of the video, because when you type this word down in a comment, it tells that pesky algorithm to share this video with more people so we can have more wonderful Refashionistas join our rockin' Refashionista revolution and use what they have to make what they want. And the word of this video is spooky. All you have to do is figure out where you need to be removing your seams. And so for me, I'm going to do along the shoulders and the sleeves and on the sides of the bodice here, because that's where I need that little bit of extra space. And then you just take your handy seam ripper and remove, if I can get it, yes, this interior second seam. And of course, you absolutely do want to leave the exterior finished edge here. And if you do have a sewing machine or are proficient with hand sewing, you can, of course, make this seam extra strong and sturdy by simply stitching over it again if you're at all worried about it coming apart. So I just want to show you how truly easy this is. Once you get started with removing your seam, you should be able to just pull. Like, look at this. I'm just pulling, and all that thread, look, you can just rip it off there, has come off. And look at that. I have increased the size of my sleeve here by about a full centimeter, which is actually quite a bit when you think that this is going to be on both sides. So truly, my bodice is going to be upsized by 2 centimeters, which, as I said, is more than enough. I put on my best fairy makeup and accessories and then went outside to frolic with my fellow woodland creatures. For this ridiculously fast and simple project, all you need is your top that you just aren't feeling anymore. Plus, of course, you need your comfy, elastic-waisted lounge pants. I am not here to show you how to make your own unique style. I'm here to show you how I make it, and then you tweak my tutorials and you do whatever the heck you want to make it into your actual style. This is my style. I'm making because I want to wear this. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to do is get the approximate length that the shirt needs to be in order to easily attach it to the trousers here. And these have like a paper bag waist, which is really lucky because I can just use this excess fabric here that's above the elastic waist to stitch them together, and then I don't have to worry about stitching through the elastic. But I do have to chop this to size, so just going to put a pin in there, and I should have about 2 centimeters of seam allowance. So now let's go chop this, and then we can stitch them together, and it's going to be done. And we're almost done. We just have to put these together. So I have my pants right side out, and I have my chopped top here inside out, and I'm just going to pop the pants into the top. So then we're going to have the right sides facing together, and I want the chopped edge, bottom edge here of the top to be matched up with the waistband of the pants. And you can see here, all I'm going to have to do as I'm stitching is stretch this waistband. And of course, I will be using a tight wide zigzag because we want that stretch to remain. And that's just the easiest stitch that I know to stitch these together. And I don't have a fancy serger, so that also does help to slow down and in some cases totally prevent fraying, because you can see here, this top is pretty much fully polyester, and where I chopped it, it's already fraying. But now that's all I'm going to do is go stitch these two pieces together. And it is all stitched together. So let's flip this right side out. And look at that. The most perfect, classy black jumpsuit made from a shirt that I really never wore and a pair of lounge pants. And you know what? I think it's definitely time to go try this on and style it up. Okay, this came out so much better than I thought it was going to, as do most of my refashions. I know I say that all the time, but truly, what I picture in my brain, I always think, oh, I can't do that. And then you know what? I can do that. So if I can do it, so can you. I taught myself how to use a sewing machine when I inherited a very, very old vintage one at the age of 38. So again, if I can do it, you can too. You see, it is not difficult whatsoever. For this hopefully quick and easy, fabulous fall refashion, all you need is your cozy but too tight dress or tunic or long shirt or whatever the heck this thing is. I don't even know, but this is what we're transforming today. So one thing I'm going to make is just a super cozy top that actually fits me, and I'm pretty sure I can just use this excess existing fabric here to upsize it. So we'll see. But this bottom bit, which is kind of annoying, and you can see it has these very big slits on the sides, I'm going to try to make a very cozy, very comfy, pumpkin-themed hat out of it. So let's see how we're going to do that first. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is just chop off the top bit here right above where these slits are in the side, and that should give me more than enough fabric for my top that I'll make in a minute, as well as tons of fabric on the bottom part here to make my hat. So I now have two very generously sized pieces of fantastic faux fur, and it's a wonderful orange color, which of course is perfect for fall and Halloween. Okay, so I just grabbed one of those pieces, and the original bottom hem here fits pretty much perfectly wrapped around my head. So I'm just going to chop this off, and this is going to actually become my hat band, because then I don't have to sew a hat band. It's already done for me. And I'm also going to leave a little bit of excess fabric here just for seam allowance. Okay, so I just want to show you how I figured out my ideal band size. All I did was take that chopped hem from that I just did and wrapped it around my head like so. Very, very easy. There's like literally no measuring, nothing. It's so simple. So you can see that I have my headband part all stitched together, and first I did a straight stitch, then I did a tight wide zigzag over top of my straight stitch just for extra strength, and it looks absolutely perfect. And then here's those two bulky pieces just chopped off and ready to be turned into something else at a later date. All right, so now for the top part of my hat, I think I just am going to do kind of like a slouchy beanie because that's the kind of hats that I usually wear. And I looked all over my house to find something round enough and large enough that I could use as a template. And here I came up with this placemat, and it's absolutely perfect. And I'll just measure it for you so you can have an idea. It is 39 centimeters in diameter, so I guess around 40 centimeters should be more than enough if you want to make the same size of hat that I am. And so now I'm just going to cut out the perfect circle of my placemat. So I have my circle fabric with the right side facing up, and I have my headband turned inside out. And that is so once everything is stitched together and we flip it all right side out, the right sides will be stitched together properly, and the interior will of course be on the interior. So just how do we stitch it together then? Well, I mean, we could just put that kind of in the middle and then easily gather, fold and gather, right? Fold, gather to make your pin tuck, and then put that with the right sides together. And I'm gonna grab my pin, grab a pin, and then pin that. And there you go. There is one pin tuck. And of course it's called a pin tuck because you're tucking and pinning. Very, very easy. Okay, I am going to keep going all the way around here, and I pretty much just eyeball it as I'm going. And if I need to regather or reposition, I do that. I just find it's the quickest and easiest way. And that's what I'm all about, is doing things quick and easy, right? Okay, you can see here I have all of my lovely little pin tucks all done, and I actually think it's going to be pretty darn perfect, but we will see. We will see. Again, if it's not perfect, it's going to be good enough, and that's good enough for me. So now I'm going to go stitch this all together very, very slowly and carefully using a tight, wide zigzag so the hat will still have the stretch needed to get on and off my head. Okay, it is all stitched together, and I did go around it twice using that tight wide zigzag, and then I trimmed off any of the bulky excess. So it's time to flip it down. And oh my goodness, are you kidding me? That looks exactly as I wanted it to, and I think that's just perfect. But it's missing something, isn't it? Do you know what it's missing? Of course it needs a pom-pom, and here is my jar of pom-poms. And of course this is just a cleaned out pickle jar, and then I stuck an empty thread spool on top and spray painted it with my Refashionista pink. And there you go. Look at that. I think that looks absolutely perfect, and it kind of looks like a tam o' shanter hat, I'm thinking. And if you don't know what that is, well, that is a type of a Scottish cap, a flat cap, and I think that's just going to be perfect. So I'm going to go stitch this on. I actually had enough pom-poms left over that I stitched them all the way around my neckline as well. So now we can finally try this all on and style it all up. If you style this with brown and orange and have a microphone, you can go as pumpkin spice and sing your way through your trick-or-treating. For this groove-tastic goth look, all you need is your black lace top that is maybe just a wee bit too small for you. And you'll also need a scarf that coordinates, so of course a black scarf. And look at those awesome skulls, and it's just a skull poncho, so I think that is going to make a perfect skirt for this. So my lace top was pretty much made like a sweatshirt, so it has cuffs on the sleeves and this one on the bottom. So the very first thing I'm going to do is simply chop those off. So always remember to hold on to stuff like this. Like, this is a perfectly good bottom hem and a pair of sleeve cuffs to use in future for another project. So because I need to upsize this top through the chest area and through the sleeve and armhole area, I'm simply going to cut off the sides from the bottom all the way around to the end of the sleeves here. So I have my scarf evenly folded in half, and now I'm just going to chop that folded edge, so then I will have two even pieces. So now it is finally time to add our easy upsizing side panels, and to do that, simply lay your top with the right side facing up on a flat surface, then grab one of your side panels and put one of the chopped edges to the chopped edge of the sleeve here. Now you need to make sure that the bulk of your fabric is facing inwards. And why do we need to do that? Because when you fold down the other side of your shirt, you need to have that bulk of fabric to attach to the sleeve, and thus creating your upsize panels. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I'm lining up this edge to go all the way to the armpit area and then all the way down to the bottom hem. And now I'm just going to go stitch that together. Look, my first upsizing side panel is stitched on, and I just love this lace pattern mix. That looks so cool. Okay, so now we have to fold down the other side here and then match up the sleeve edge once again. And now I'm going to go stitch this open edge together to finish off my first side panel. Then I'm going to go repeat the whole process on the other side of the shirt. So my side panels are all done and they look absolutely fantastic. And I think I actually upsized this top at least 2 sizes. It is very, very loose and comfy now. I had these 2 pieces left from my scarf, and I was thinking, how can I add them to the sleeve cuffs here to just, make it a little bit more interesting and finish off these sleeves. So I chopped each piece in half, so I now have 4 pieces, and you can see because they were from different ends of the scarf, they're different. So I'm going to match them together so at least they can be different together. And then I'm simply going to stitch each one together to create a longer length of fabric that kind of matches. So once I had my 2 long strips stitched together, I just stitched the open edges together to create a couple of little sleeve cuffs. So now I'm going to put them on my shirt. So these came out pretty much the perfect width to add to my sleeve cuffs to finish them off. So I'm just going to flip this over. So I'm going to have the right sides facing like so, and those raw edges all lined up together, and then I'm just going to go stitch them together. And the sleeve cuffs came out absolutely brilliantly, and then all I did to finish off the top was give it a lovely clean hem. I got to thinking about the head hole of this poncho and how if I widened it a bit and then took that bottom piece from the shirt and added it there to the head hole, I could easily make a skirt. So that is what we're gonna do. So with this bottom hem that I chopped off of the shirt, I just popped it around my waist, and you can see here I marked it to my desired width here. Plus I left a bit of stretch just, you know, in case I eat a lot of candy this Halloween. And now I'm just going to go stitch this, chop off the excess, and then I'll have my very, very easy skirt waistband. So my waistband is now complete, and I trimmed off that excess fabric. I also went ahead and widened the head hole on this poncho. So now all I have to do is take my waistband and pop it over top of my poncho, which is soon to be my skirt, with the right sides facing and the raw edges lined up. And then I can just go stitch this together, and my funky Gothic skirt will be complete. So it's all stitched together with a nice tight wide zigzag, which allows the waistband to have the stretch needed to pull it on and off my body. And when we flip it up, it looks absolutely perfect. How great did that come out? So now we can go grab the shirt, pair it with the skirt, and try it on and style it up. And that was, I believe, 7 fabulous tutorials, and each one of them proves that you can easily upstyle and create your own fashion that you want to wear every single day and still crush it on Halloween if you celebrate. If you don't, just have fun wearing your fantastic new to you fashion that you created for yourself. Do not forget to hit that join button, check out all the perks, and join me in my membership so you can access those absolutely fabulous members-only tutorials. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch ya on the zigzag. Oh yeah, join my wardrobe revolution at refashionistasherry.com too.
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.